Major General Mehra, thank you very much for speaking with RT India. First of all, from a governance point of view, where exactly has the interim government failed? Is it just the policy? Is it the policing? Or do you feel that there is a lack of political will?
Thank you, Osama, for having me on the show once again, and it's a pleasure to be here. Bangladesh, as you know, was created in 1971 after the population rebelled against the West Pakistan rule. And today, what the changes that we see today presently happening in Bangladesh are very sad. Now, any government, be it the interim administrative government or a democratically elected government, the basic purpose of the government is to provide the or guarantee the basic right to live, basic right of security to its citizens. Any country, any regime, any administrative government which cannot provide that right, I think it is a big failure in its part. And in Bangladesh's case, it is more of, it seems, the administration going soft to ensure its own sort of survival rather than it has all the police, it has all the military, it has all the forces at its disposal. However, there is seem to be a lack of will to confront the extremist forces, or if I may say, fundamentalist forces, and curb such issues or such incidents.
Absolutely. In fact, the government needs to explain the pattern of the mob violence as well, which has emerged in the couple of days. There have been 2 lynchings that have happened, and both of them involve, Hindu victims, the minority community there. Now, as far as this violence is concerned, is this violence against minorities? Do you see this as a symptom of state weakness, or do you think that it reflects selective enforcement under the interim setup?
There's no question of state not being weak. Rather than state being weak, I would put it as state being unwilling to curb such a violence. And they are, as I said earlier, they, for their own political sort of a survival, they want to go soft on these elements which are perpetuating this such violence. And not only these 2 lynching incidents of late Deepu Chand Das and of Amrit Mondal, as the lady Ruchita just said before, there have been many other incidents of houses being burned, the communities being chased. Back when the government had taken shape, these incidents happening. So it's not, it is happening now. It has been taking place for almost last 7-8 months. And it reminds one of the atrocities that the Pakistan army before 1971 had committed on the Bangladeshis. And because of that only, this entire Bangladesh had rose against them. So I think history is turning its full circle, and as I firmly believe that any country which forgets its heritage, which forgets the lessons from its own history.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I mean, repeat it, yeah.
Yeah, Major General Deepak Mehra, I also want to highlight what we are showing our viewers on the screen. There have been over 2,000 violent incidents that have been reported since August of 2024 till June of 2025. Now, 1,000 attacks have taken place in the last 16 days. In just 16 days during that period, from August 4th till August 20th last year, there have been 69 Hindu temples that have been vandalized and attacked. There have been 157 homes that have been torched. 5 Hindus have lost their lives. And this is all what the data that we are showing you is all courtesy of the Bangladesh Hindu Buddhist Christian Unity Council. These are serious numbers that we are talking about, isn't it?
Absolutely. Now, let me add, I mean, this is horrific, actually. In today's world, when the respect for all the religions, the respect for all the traditions and ideologies, we need to continue with that. This is happening in a so-called democratic country. It is very heartrending. I'll give you another statistics. I will give you statistics of 1965, 71, and 2025, and of the population census. You see, the Muslim percentage of Muslim population in 1965 was 80%, with the Hindus comprising almost 18% beyond that, and rest Buddhism, Christianity, and other 1.5 some percent. By the time it was 71, after the crimes perpetuated by the Pakistan army and West Pakistan, the Muslim population had increased to 85%, with the Hindus dropping from 18.5 to 13%. And the latest census of 2022, the Muslim population from 85 has increased to 92%, and
Yeah.
Hindus and others are almost only 8% from 13%, which was in 71.
Yeah.
You see, it is not uh, uh, things happening now. Many things were happening under the radar otherwise also.
Yeah.
But only thing is that the amount of violence that has started now, it is terrible actually.
Absolutely. And one cannot deny the fact that when a situation like this emerges, it is countries like the Pakistan who benefit from it the most.
Yes, Pakistan, which is not able to put its own house in order,
Yeah.
each province of it wants to break away from the Punjabi-controlled center.
Yeah.
I think they want to divert the attention by somehow or the other, uh, being totally India-centric, to again ensure their own survival. That is one reason the hate for India, which combines the entire Pakistan, which gets the entire Pakistan together. One sentiment, that is the anti-India sentiment. And
Yeah.
all this is part of that, I think.
Absolutely. And, a final word from you, sir. In geopolitical terms, does continued minority violence, does it weaken Bangladesh's bargaining power as well, whether it is with India, whether it is with the United States, or for that matter, the European Union?
For the short-term gains, I think they are losing a big picture presently, as it will be very, very difficult for them to justify the crimes that are being committed, the uncontrolled crimes that are being committed. And surely for any country, tomorrow, once the democratically elected government gets into place, it makes their position much, much weaker uh, going forward in the Committee of Nations.
Yeah, and you spoke about the long-term risks here. If this trend continues, sir, what long-term risk are we looking at? And what long-term risk does it pose to social cohesion, the credibility, and more importantly, there is an election coming there, the credibility of that transition process as well?
Yes, see, no country, especially country like Bangladesh, where millions are still living in the poverty, requires lots of investment coming in from foreign firms. And under Sheikh Hasina, there were firms, even Indian firms, going in there and investing into Bangladesh industry and all. But can you imagine, with the country in such a turmoil, where people are being burned, lynched, and houses are being torched of a particular community,
Yeah.
would any country like to sink its money in such an atmosphere? You have seen the condition of what happened to Pakistan a few years back, and it is still continuing. It's very difficult for a country like that, Pakistan itself, to get the investment with the present chaos which is there. And Bangladesh is walking the same path.
Yeah.
And whereas Bangladesh has wonderful industry, especially the garment industry, the jute industry, which is there, and it can really benefit from that and from the investment coming from abroad. So if you don't get investment, people continue to stay in poverty. The vicious cycle of people getting attracted towards the easy money, towards the extremism, to the power, to the fundamentalism continues.
Yeah.
And this is a negative spiral that the country is on as of now.
And it's extremely sad, Major General Mehra, because Bangladesh, it was quite an ally of India for the longest period of time, over 5 decades. And in the last 1 year, 1.5 years, things have really gone down south. Now, the Indian Ministry of External Affairs, as part of their weekly presser, they have addressed this issue. They have reacted to the incidents in Bangladesh. India says that these incidents, they cannot be brushed aside. Before I ask you about that, let's listen in to what the Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson had to say.
The unremitting hostility against minorities in Bangladesh, including Hindus, Christians, and Buddhists, at the hands of extremists, is a matter of grave concern. We condemn the recent gruesome killing of a Hindu youth in Mymensingh and expect that the perpetrators of the crime would be brought to justice. Over 2,900 incidents of violence against minorities, including cases of killings, arsons, land grab, have been documented by independent sources during the tenure of the interim government. These incidents cannot be brushed aside as mere media exaggerations or dismissed as political violence.
Major General Mehra, you heard what Randhir Jaiswal, the Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson, had to say. He quoted a number, and this is quite important. 2,900 incidents of violence that have taken place under the interim government, and this is not really an exaggeration.
Absolutely, absolutely. And they're diverting lots of focus towards India, accusing India of sheltering certain elements. Also, I think when I read the MEA statement of press releases, has been categorically rejected by the MEA also. Also, from a state media or from the state of Bangladesh, the things are to cover their own tracks, to cover their own failures. They want to divert this thing. The people who have committed such crimes have escaped to India, which is again absolutely wrong on their part to say. I think though we are absolutely committed to the fact that we do not interfere into the internal affairs of or internal political processes of any other country. But certainly, if a certain minority population are under distress in our near vicinity, I think a note has to be taken, and I think ME is absolutely taking the note, and I think they have called their Bangladesh High Commissioner also and lodged a protest against such propaganda, misleading propaganda, and other aspects of violence in Bangladesh.
All right. Major General Deepak Mehra, thank you very much for speaking with RT India and sharing your thoughts on the developing situation.
Thank you.